So,
Okay,
good morning, everybody. Welcome to this presentation, English as a Second Language, ESL, at County College of Morris, presented by James Hart. We thank James for being a presenter today at the NJTESOL-NJBE. And I'll let James introduce himself and start the presentation. Thank you.
thank you, Andrea. Welcome, everybody. My name is James Hart, and as Andrea said, I'm representing County College of Morris. I've been a professor there for about 15 years, and I teach a whole variety of classes, Spanish and ESL, and also intercultural communication. And today I'm very happy to help you folks here at today's presentation to understand a little bit about the ESL program here at CCM. Um, I also can answer questions in Spanish, or if folks have a question in Spanish, feel free to do so as well. Mi nombre es James Hart, soy profesor de County College of Morris. Um, y estoy muy feliz de estar aquí con ustedes hoy. Okay. So I'm just going to go right ahead and begin the presentation. So, Andrea, I'm going to share my screen, correct? I have permissions to share my screen?
I can make sure that you do right now. One moment. I'm sorry about
Okay,
that.
no problem.
Okay. All right. You should be getting the message that you're a co-host now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I just have some information I'd like to share with all of you about ESL at County College of Morris. And the first thing I think I should say is our whole approach, our whole philosophy to language learning at County College of Morris is that of not a deficit model, but what we're looking at here is honoring the first languages that our students come to us with. We acknowledge that our students come to us with Spanish and Arabic and French and a variety of other languages, and they already have high levels of fluency in these particular languages. So our goal in the ESL program is to honor that original language, but also ensure that our students, by the time they're done with the ESL program, can add to that already existing language and walk out of the program having a high level of fluency in two languages. So we're looking to add to your skill set, and we're not taking an approach where we kind of look at the deficit of English, but instead we're looking at the positive of the native language and we're adding English to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first go over some of the basics of the program, and then we can open it up for any questions that you may have. So the first thing to know about ESL at County College of Morris is that just like at most community colleges in New Jersey, there are two ESL programs. There's the academic ESL program, and this is primarily for students who are degree seeking. That is to say that they apply to CCM to become a nurse or to study psychology or to study history or to become a Spanish teacher. And as part of their coursework, they are placed into some levels of ESL according to a placement test. So that is to say, you're already at CCM studying a program, you're already admitted to CCM as a degree-seeking student, and you just need to add a little bit of English to your coursework in order for you to be successful in your upper-level courses. The other program that exists at CCM is called the Adult, which we also call the ELL program. And this is for students who are not seeking a degree. This is a community program, and it's more for students who have more of a limited fluency in English. They may be more beginners. They may have only the basics of English. They're not interested in seeking a degree. This program is really more for general English purposes, how to navigate everyday life. Whereas the academic ESL program, this is specifically geared towards students and the skills they need to have more professional and more academic English and be successful in their degree programs. So as I said before, so what I want to do is go into some of the details of both of the programs. I want to talk about the academic ESL program first. So this program, as I said before, gives students whose native language is not English the cultural and linguistic knowledge they need to complete a degree, right? Nursing, hospitality, humanities, psychology, all the things that I said before. We actually have the shortest program in the state of New Jersey. We only have 3 levels of ESL, and that those 3 levels together consist of 7 classes. But what this means is that our levels are pretty intense, right? Each level has a lot of credit, hours associated with it because we need to kind of pack a lot of English education into those 3 levels. So what this basically means, excuse me, is that by the time you are done level 2 of ESL and you're in level 3, what we do is we permit you to begin classes in your major. I think a lot of students, when they come to the ESL program and they're placed in our level 1 ESL, I think they get discouraged because they think that level 1 means basic or beginner, and they'll be learning, letters and numbers and animals all over again. And that's not the case at all. And in fact, because the academic ESL program is on the degree seeking side of the house, you actually do need a basic understanding of English in order to be admitted. So our level 1 isn't beginner. Our level 1 is about the low intermediate level of English. And so each level is a semester. And so really, if you come in at our level 1, students only need 2 semesters of English before they can start taking classes in their major, and which I think is really accelerated, and it compares very favorably to other community colleges in New Jersey. Some colleges have 7 levels or 5 levels or 4 levels. At CCM, we only have 3 levels, and we try to get you into your major classes as quickly as possible. And that is only after 2 semesters of work, which isn't so bad. So when you apply to CCM, you'll have to do a couple of different placement tests, and that includes ESL as well. So the way we determine which level of ESL that you place into is just through a simple test that it consists of multiple choice questions, and you also have to write an essay for us. Okay, I've given a lot of information at this point, so I'll pause to see if there are any questions from anybody. Okay, so I'll continue on with the next slide. So this is a basic summary of the academic ESL classes at CCM. So as you can see, each level of 1 and 2 has 3 classes each, reading and writing and conversation. And again, the program is designed to give students the skills they need for academic English, English for specific purposes. So the conversation here isn't everyday conversation. These are more like academic presentational skills. And then as you can see, our level 3 only has 1 class, writing 3. And the reason why we do that, as I said before, is because when you finish level 2, you're free to take classes in your major. So when you're in level 3, that's kind of the transition semester, where as long as you're in a level 3 class, which is writing 3, at that same semester, you can use the other credits that you may want to take to enroll yourself in major classes. So what students usually do in level 3 is they take their writing 3, and then they take like a basic level of psychology or history or sociology or an intro to business or whatever is appropriate for their own major. Okay. So before I move on to the ELL program, the General English program, I'll just pause to see if there are any questions. Okay? Don't be shy. If you have any questions, please let me know. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the adult program now. Now, I'm the director of the academic ESL program. I'm not the director of the adult or the general ELL program. There are different departments in different areas of CCM. So I do my best to represent the basics of this program, but I may not have the same level of knowledge of this one as others, but I do give you contact information at the end so that if you do have specific questions about the ELL program, you can go ahead and contact those folks at CCM. So as I said before, the EL program at CCM, this is a non-credit program. This is on the workforce or continuing education side of the house. And this is for students who have a variety of different purposes in academic. So this is for students who maybe are very much beginners, they have very limited English skills, or this is for students who maybe are not degree seeking. This is for students who maybe just need a general English for navigating the English speaking needs on a kind of daily basis. So the ELL program has 5 different levels. There's the first and most basic level, which is foundations. So this is for students who have almost no knowledge of English or very, very, very limited knowledge of English. After that, the next level up is early beginner. And so this is for students who maybe have just maybe a little bit of the basics of English, but they still consider themselves very much beginners. After that, we have a beginner level. So this is for students who have slightly more proficiency than the early beginner folks or the foundation folks. After that, we have the intermediate level courses, which helps individuals improve their English language fluency. So you're building upon those skills that you got in foundations, beginner, and early beginner. The advanced levels are for students who have already completed the intermediate course, or they have a strong command of English grammar and pronunciation. And this is for individuals who maybe want to be more effective at work. You know, they already have jobs, they don't want degrees. And so maybe this is for students who want to kind of perfect and refine what they already have. And then what we just added in the ELL program are conversation and pronunciation classes. So these classes focus on these particular skills, and they're not necessarily associated with a particular level. And again, because this is the non-academic side of the house, you know, this is not the academic program, this is true kind of like everyday conversation kind of class. So for the adult program, classes cost $300 each, and each class contains 20 sessions, which are usually spread out over 10 weeks, for a total of 40 continuing education units. They're offered in a variety of formats: remote live, which is through Zoom like today, and in person. And they're offered in 2 schedules, either a morning schedule, 9:30 to 11:30, or an evening schedule, 6 to 8 p.m. But times can vary, depending on the semester. And the courses are offered twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Mondays and Wednesdays. So early spring, the next semester begins next week, actually, on January 27th. And then there's actually another semester within the spring called the late spring. That date hasn't been set yet, but it'll begin at the end of April. So because this is not an academic program, there's no application necessary. You just kind of sign up for the class that you're interested in. And if you do want to be leveled and placed into the non-academic program, you can do that as well. There is a placement test, but it's not required as in the academic program. So for those students who are interested in the academic program, you know, these are folks who are already, so I'm switching gears a little bit. Actually, I'm going to pause again. Are there any questions that folks have about the ELL or the non-credit ESL program before I go into the admissions process?
Yes, James, one quick question.
Yes.
Students who are entering ESL, not the adult, but the ESL, or either or, do they take like an entrance exam before they are able to start classes?
Yes, yes. So for both programs, there is we call it a placement exam. So for the ELL program, which is the non-credit, the workforce, the non-academic program, the general program, that program, their placement test costs, I think, $20. And I think it is optional. I don't think you have to take it if you don't want to, right? It's just kind of if necessary, if you want to see where you place, you can go ahead and do that. For the academic ESL program, again, because these are students who are already applying to CCM for a major, they're coming to CCM for nursing, they're coming to CCM for psychology or whatever it is they want to study, radiography. They already have to go through the admissions process because of that. Um, and part of the admissions process is identifying them for any kind of placement test that they need, whether it's math or English or ESL. So in the case of the academic ESL program, there is a placement test and it is required if you're identified as somebody who needs to take the ESL placement test. And that one is free. It doesn't cost anything. And it can be taken again. So if a student gets their ESL results for the academic program and they're not happy with them, they always have the option of retaking that placement test to see if they can get a better grade. And we take the better of the two.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And that's actually a great segue, Andrea. So if you are interested in the academic ESL program, meaning your goal at CCM is that you want to come and study and receive a degree, you would have to go through the admissions process just like any other person who wants to study a degree at CCM. So what you would do is you submit your application, and because you'd be a degree-seeking student, you'd have to provide your high school transcripts. You receive an acceptance email from CCM, and in that email, you'll get instructions on how to take that placement exam. Um, and like I said, the placement exam is very easy to schedule, and it is free, unlike the ELL one, which costs, the fee is not terrible. It's like $20. But on the academic side, there is no fee. It's free. And then you would take your placement tests, you'd see what level of ESL you're in, um, and you would start enrolling in your classes. And we have a really nice orientation for ESL students that we do because a lot of our ESL students, they come from different countries. A lot of that, or they're very new to college. And so we have a really nice orientation that introduces them not only to CCM, but introduces them to the higher education system in the United States. Okay, I'll pause again in case there are any questions about the admissions process. So the other advantage of the academic ESL program is that it is covered by financial aid. So the assumption, if you are in the academic ESL program, is that you're a degree-seeking student, right? You are studying nursing, you're studying chemistry, biology, whatever it is, and your placement tests have determined that you need some ESL coursework. And so financial aid will cover the ESL program up to a certain number of credits. I think it's the last class that may not be covered, but the other classes that are in the ESL program are covered. The non-credit ESL program, the general program, this is not covered by financial aid because it is not part of a degree-seeking sequence. Now, it doesn't mean that there aren't ways for students to pay for the program. There could be grants that they could get, but it is, generally speaking, not covered under financial aid because it's continuing education units, not credits on the credit side of the house. Okay. So I'll leave this up for a second and just give some concluding remarks. This is my contact information. I'm the chairperson of the department of ESL. If anybody has questions specifically for admissions, the person to contact at admissions is Lizette Ragno. She does speak Spanish, so if there are people who need somebody to speak Spanish, they can go ahead and do that. And then at the bottom, I've put the contact information for the general ELL, the general English ELL program as well, for those students who might have questions for that program. So I hope what I've shown you through this presentation is the offerings that CCM has for its community, for those folks in the community whose first language is not English, but would like to study either English or study a degree. So CCM looks at our community, and for those folks in our community who don't speak English, we kind of say, hey, we want you to come and we want you to study with us. And if you want to study a degree, and if you want to get a nursing degree or a psychology degree, but you know that you need to maybe improve your English a little bit in order to do that, we have that academic ESL program for you there. Come to CCM, apply for the degree that you want to study, apply for that nursing degree if you want to become a nurse, apply for a psychology degree if you want to become a therapist. Don't worry if you're a little nervous about your English. We have classes that'll help you bring your English up to the level that it needs to be in order to complete a degree. On the other hand, if you're in the community and you're not interested in a degree, but you just kind of want to improve your English a little bit for whatever purposes you have that are not English, that are not academic, we have that adult program, that workforce ELL general English program that you can apply to, and you can just go there to improve your English skills for whatever other purposes that you need. Okay, so that concludes my presentation. And if I can take questions. If anybody has any questions they would like to discuss, any kind of clarifications that I can make. I can also do so in Spanish as well. And Andrea, I do have a Spanish version of this that I can send to Kathleen, and she can also post it on the website. So if folks would like a Spanish version, I can put the Spanish version up there.
Yeah, that would be very helpful if you have the Spanish presentation and both can be shared via the website. I have one additional question, and I don't know if you touched upon that or you could expand a little bit more. How can high school seniors who are currently multilingual learners and who are going to graduate being an ML, how can they navigate the college admissions process successfully? What would you recommend?
So honestly, there are a couple of ways that I can suggest students to do that. So the first way is the first piece of advice that I would give is to not be afraid. Not be afraid. The admissions office at CCM, and any admissions office at any college that I know of in New Jersey, we are here to help students. We are here to offer to our students the education they need in order to complete their career and educational goals. And the reason why I say this is because I find that a lot of students have that, what we call the affective barrier. There's an emotional block there for whatever reason. They're intimidated um, because they just don't have any knowledge about what college is and how it works in the US. And I think my answer to those students is, see if you can let go of that and go and email the admissions office of the college that you're interested in. Pick up the phone and give the admissions office a call. Our goal is to answer the questions that you have to make you feel as comfortable as you can in order to facilitate your admission into our institution. We try to be as welcoming as we can to everybody. And so there is no reason at all that we would turn anybody away. So please feel free to always give us a call. Don't be afraid. Community colleges were created to democratize higher education and make it accessible to all. And we really try to live up to that mission, particularly in the ESL department. So the first thing I would say is, let go of your fears, right? Let go of your trepidation, right? The worst that'll happen is, um, you'll pick up the phone and spend 20 minutes, and maybe um, might need to wait a little bit before you're ready for college, or maybe you need to get a couple of documents, or whatever the case is, it doesn't hurt just to pick up the phone and give a call or send an email. That would be the first thing. The second thing I would try to say is I think we really underestimate peer-to-peer advice. So I would tell high schools, and I would suggest to high schools, and I would suggest to high school seniors or high school juniors to try to connect with students who have already gone through the admissions process at a college or an institution, and connect, those people who are just in their freshman year at CCM or any other college, or just finishing their freshman year, and have those students come back and talk to those juniors and seniors. And so those first year freshmen at the college, they can give the outgoing seniors and the juniors who are coming up to be seniors advice on what they need to do in order to be admitted to a college. So I would say, let go of your fear, and also try to get to know current freshmen in colleges who can come back and give you advice, because I think that peer-to-peer connection is really valuable. I know that my high school did it when I was there. They had a program where students who had just ended their freshman year in college came back to talk to outgoing seniors to give them advice and help on how to navigate the transition between high school and college. And I think that was super, super valuable. And I would encourage people to kind of connect and do that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much, James. This was a great presentation, very informative. Thank you for the time also that you took in creating it.
Thank you. I think there was some stuff in the chat. Okay, I'm just checking the chat to make sure there are no questions in the chat. So yeah, I really can't underestimate. I mean, I think what we encounter a lot at CCM is that students are just afraid, right? They see CCM and they see college as almost an unobtainable kind of goal. And I just wish they would just let go of that. We're not going to bite at CCM. We're going to try and be as helpful as possible.
Thank you. Leanne, I think that we can stop the recording.
Sounds great. I'll do that now.